7 finals played, 7 finals won.
Der ist gut! Und der ist drin!
Hansi Flick is inevitable. He just simply doesn't know how to lose, even if he tried. Imagine beating your biggest rivals in a final and just moving on. What is it about that 100% win ratio that makes him so special? And above all, what's his biggest secret to never losing finals? Against Real Madrid in Sevilla, Hansi Flick did it again. It wasn't just beating Madrid, it was the first out of what could potentially be a treble-winning season for Barcelona, or a quadruple if you decide to include the Spanish Super Cup success. So getting into it properly, what is Hansi Flick's secret to winning 7 finals? Well, it's a step-by-step plan, and the first is huge. Enjoy it.
Like I said before, so we have to enjoy it. We have a really young team, and also this is a great experience.
That was his message to his Barcelona team against Real Madrid, and he wasn't just saying it for the sake of the occasion. Hansi Flick was telling his team to enjoy it because he knew there would be periods in the game where it would feel like hell. In the second half, Real Madrid came at Barcelona full on. Mbappe and Tchouaméni's goals looked like they'd won it, but Barcelona found ways to battle back thanks to Ferran Torres' goal before Jules Koundé scored in extra time. But on the whole, that Barcelona team wasn't different from the one we've seen for large parts this season. Players like Yamal were still trying tricks, doing trivela passes. Pedri dictated the tempo, particularly in the first half. The only downside was Rafinha not performing, as would have been expected. But the idea here is that this Barcelona team for large parts enjoyed their football. The bulk of the team are still kids. But this theme, enjoying a final, didn't just start at Barcelona for Hansi Flick. It's something he's maintained as a central message even back in his Bayern days.
Finale, deswegen freuen wir uns darauf und versuchen natürlich das Beste, die Bestform, die jeder Einzelne auch bringen kann, natürlich da morgen auch zu zeigen und nur dann.
He conveyed the same idea along these lines when Bayern got to the final of the Champions League for the first time in 7 years against PSG back in 2020. A tough game against a PSG team that was star-studded in attack, a defense that had only conceded 5 goals en route to the final. And yet, Flick wanted his team to enjoy the final because, in his words, it's not every year a team gets to one. Then you begin to realize it's his hallmark. Ahead of the 2020 DFB Pokal final, he talked about how exciting the final would be and how it would depend on the performance of the team to get the result rather than the individual. Now it all adds up, as do the other finals, because having a manager who shows the energy for a final, but at the same time is telling players to enjoy the moment, that's all the motivation they need. But it goes beyond him just telling players to enjoy it, because once it gets to the final proper, Hansi Flick engages in the next step. Just before that though, in case you haven't hit that subscribe button to Futbol Historia yet, just click it down below. It's simple. So what's the other step then? Tactically suffocating the opponent. This one obviously comes down to the tactics. He's only managed 2 clubs as a first-team manager all his career, and for the context of this video, only been in the finals with 2 clubs, Bayern Munich and Barcelona. But in each, it's followed a similar theme. Up to the point of those finals, he's built teams that have swept away almost the entire competition using one particular tactic.
Barcelona won't stop, Jules. It's a 3-1 win in the derby over Espanyol. But, Jules, the wheels nearly came off in the second half. You getting nervous about this Highline?
Bayern Munich, Barcelona, same tactic, the Highline. Now the reason we're highlighting this and mentioning it as a secret to how Hansi Flick wins finals is because of how risky it is. It's a very common theme for most managers to take conservative approaches when getting to a final. They'd rather play safe to avoid defeat than go all out and win. But Hansi Flick sticks by the same principles no matter what. Then it shifts the narrative. Playing attacking football in a final, particularly with the teams he's managed, has brought the same results but in different ways. In the final versus Leverkusen in the DFB Pokal in 2020, Flick's Bayern Munich team didn't leave any doubts about who was going to win this one. They flew out the blocks early on. Lewandowski and Coman came close, but after David Alaba's free kick, Bayern scored 2 more through Serge Gnabry and Robert Lewandowski to be 3-0 up by 60 minutes. Take the Spanish Super Cup final versus Real Madrid as another example. Real Madrid took the lead early, but after Lamine Yamal's leveler, Barcelona were on a tear. Goals from Lewandowski, Balde and Rafinha made it 4-1 before half-time. So what's the point of this? A secret to Hansi Flick always winning finals is that each time he tries to get his team flying out of the blocks from the start. The big leagues against Leverkusen and Madrid are indicators that he wants his team to play attacking football no matter what, even if it is a final. But as we said, the results of playing this brand of football have come, but in different ways. In the final against PSG in the Champions League, the one against Dortmund in 2020 in the German Super Cup, the finals against Tigres UANL in the Club World Cup, and the UEFA Super Cup final against Sevilla, as well as the final against Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final. In all 5 games, Barcelona dominated possession and created chances, but these were very tight matches. Then you look at the results and realise a similar trend. 1-0 in the Champions League final versus PSG, 3-2 in the German Super Cup final versus Dortmund, 1-0 in the Club World Cup final versus Tigre, 2-1 in the UEFA Super Cup final versus Sevilla, 3-2 in the Copa del Rey final versus Real Madrid. What do all these results have in common? Hansi Flick's teams won these finals with just 1 goal. Proof that he knows playing attacking football in a final can leave his team on the edge, playing with a risk, but he'd take it regardless. And in this plan, it's all about having no fear, a no risk, no reward strategy. Now, we did mention that as part of his secret to winning finals, Hansi Flick likes his team to start attacking from the off, and more often than not, he's gunning for the first goal. But there have been instances where Hansi Flick has been in finals and seen his team go behind. In the Spanish Super Cup final versus Real Madrid, Kylian Mbappe scored first to get Real Madrid in front. In the UEFA Super Cup final versus Bayern Munich, Lucas Ocampos scored a no-look penalty to put Sevilla in front. 2 times. 2 occasions where Flick's team was behind. Could even call it 3 after Tchouaméni scored the go-ahead goal for Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final days back. But the point we're trying to bring out here is, on each account, Hansi Flick didn't panic. I mean, yeah, sure, he's usually a bit animated on the touchline, but still, he didn't revert or try to do anything major in these moments. His teams continued playing his brand of football because they knew they would eventually turn it around. And they did. In the Spanish Super Cup final, Lamine Yamal leveled the game, and from that point on, Barcelona went on a rout. In the UEFA Super Cup final, Leon Goretzka scored the equaliser before Javi Martinez won it in extra time. And a few weeks back versus Real Madrid, Ferran Torres scored the equaliser to force another 30 minutes. Even when they do go a goal behind in a final, Hansi Flick has his team believing they'll turn it around and eventually win. And that's because they always do. In this is another trend that's also developed with Hansi Flick's teams in finals, and one that almost guarantees his team to win. 2-1 versus Sevilla, 3-2 versus Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final. Both finals went to extra time, and that's the thing with his Barcelona team, or even the Bayern Munich team he managed. You'd think with the way they constantly look for spaces to attack and play such high-risk football, they'd eventually get tired or run out of steam. Yeah, you'd be wrong. It's a trademark of a Hansi Flick-led team to be fit. They're built to last the distance.
Pero claro, la intensidad una vez no significa nada. La intensidad, lo importante es en el minuto 97, que es donde muchos partidos se ganan, y es entonces la capacidad de repetir esfuerzos de alta intensidad la que realmente marca la diferencia en el fútbol.
With the appointment of Julio Tuz as the fitness coach, this season in La Liga, Barcelona can produce results in games that go to extra time. They hardly ever involve penalties, because that's another thing. When it does go the distance, they always find a way through an unlikely source. Against Real Madrid, it was Jules Koundé popping up from right back with the winner. And this won't be the first time a defender comes up with a decider for Hansi Flick in a final. Benjamin Pavard versus Tigre UANL in the Club World Cup final. Joshua Kimmich versus Borussia Dortmund in the German DFB Pokal Club final in 2020. He's got unlikely players who can produce big moments in big games. Defenders too. Particularly the finals with Real Madrid shows just how unfazed Hansi Flick is with the occasion. 2 big finals against Real Madrid. Rephrase this and it's 2 El Clásicos with trophies on the line. Getting 5 goals in a final is crazy, but getting 5 past Real Madrid with 4 at halftime? I should point out that it could have been more had it not been for a red card in the second half. Then the 3-2 win in the Copa del Rey final. This time it was equally balanced. Barcelona dominated the first half, but Real Madrid came back in the second. It went to extra time, and that Koundé winner. We're bringing this back to show the ability of Flick's team to evolve in finals as the situation demands, and that's been a key to his winning 7 finals on the stretch. Then you bring it down to the players. Because it's Bayern and Barcelona, it's easy to analyze the squads, and one key thing that stands out that's been a secret to Hansi Flick never losing finals is the players he's got at his disposal. They are machines.
Ja, die wissen, dass das nächste Spiel auch wieder ansteht, da genauso die gleiche Leistung auch zu bringen ist. Und da bereiten wir uns vor. Und jetzt geht es wirklich darum.
He talks about his Bayern team here, and the keyword is experience. The team that won everything during lockdown. The spine of that team was players like Robert Lewandowski, Thiago Alcantara, Joshua Kimmich, Manuel Neuer, Leon Goretzka, Kingsley Coman, Serge Gnabry, Thomas Müller. All players who are on the brink of entering their prime years, had fully entered it or had just passed it a bit. It's slightly different with this Barcelona team. There's a mix of experience in there, as he had with his Bayern team, the likes of Lewandowski, Rafinha, Inigo Martinez, Wojciech Szczęsny, Frankie de Jong, all experienced players. But with the likes of Pedri, Lamine Yamal, Alejandro Balde, Pau Kubasi, Gavi, Fermin Lopez, that Barca team also has young, exciting talent that can perform in big matches. Big finals too. A team that's so good it's even drawing praise from one of the greatest managers of all time. The fact is, Hansi Flick in his 2 clubs has built systems with players, slightly mixed, that offer him results in big finals no matter what. Just going back to the final versus PSG in the Champions League, and beating that PSG team with the squad they had was seriously impressive. Coman's goal was the difference. Thiago Alcantara was the man of the match with a world-class performance. They limited PSG to just half chances in the game, and the individual quality in the team was on full display. The individual quality of players like Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski and Pedri was also on display in the 2 finals against Real Madrid. The best way to sum it up? From the tactics to how he wants to play in a final, the systems and the players he's got when it comes to trophy or title deciding games, Hansi Flick has so many ways to win, he's guaranteed not to lose. And there's no reason why you can't make it 8 out of 8 in a few weeks and a second treble in 5 years. As of recording this, it's evenly balanced in the Champions League tie between his Barcelona team and Inter Milan after a crazy 3-3 draw in the first leg. Hansi Flick describes this one as a final before a final. He knows how tough it will be. And that's the thing, because he'll also know his Barca team can get past this stage, no matter the opposition. Might as well hand him the trophy already, because in the final, he's inevitable. But getting past Inter won't be an easy task, especially with how that first leg went. There are a lot of indicators to show Inter won't be easy pushovers, because they've got a lot riding in that game as well. A lot of reasons for Hansi Flick's Barcelona to be scared of Inter Milan. And you can find out why by clicking the next video.